This is Ryan Fletcher with Radio BVM, and we are going to have some stories today from the Burnaby Storytelling Project, and we're going to begin with a story from David Lee from Korea. So, hello, David.
Hi. Yeah.
Well, let's hear your story.
Yeah. Okay. I will start first about the storytelling. The title will be A Farmer's Mother. Once upon a time, around 5,000 years ago in Korea, there was a farmer lived his old mother, lovely wife, and the only son. When a year of bad harvest caused by serious drought came to this farmer, he couldn't harvest enough crops to support his whole family. His mother found this situation and she asked to the son, the farmer, "Will you carry me to the cave of the mountain near the village?" So the son answered, "No, even the social custom allowed the people abandon their parent to the mountain in case of impossible to support. I cannot follow it because I and my wife and your grandson love you so much." But mother replied, "I don't want whole family get starving and waiting to die. If I'm not in here with you, you can save enough crops to support your wife and son until the next harvest." So the farmer made his mind to abandon his mother according to his mother's asking. When using an A-frame carrier, he carried his mother to the cave of the mountain near the village. When he climbed up to the mountain, his mother started to cut the branches of the trees. So the farmer asked, "What are you doing, mother?" "I'm making a sign on some trees to do not let you lose your way back home." When he heard that from his mother, she felt so ashamed and began to cry. "Do not cry for me, son. I have lived almost a long time, and it's the time for me to go to heaven to meet your father, passed away a couple of years ago. You must support your wife and sister well, and you should go back in a hurry before the dark night comes." When he came back home from the mountain, his 6-year-old son asked to him, "Where is Grandma?" "He's in the cave of the mountain for us not starving." Then his 6-year-old son asked, "Would you please give me the A-frame carrier for me?" "Why? What for?" "If you're getting old enough to be abandoned, I will carry you to the mountain using that carrier." The farmer was so shocked when he heard that from his son, and he regret what he did for his mother. So he came back to the mountain, cave of the mountain, to bring his mother back to the home. When they came down from the mountain, his mother suddenly stopped at some place and ordered to his son, dig the ground at the backside of the huge tree. Why, mother? In my yesterday dream at the cave, your father, your deceased father, came to me and let me know where the stolen gold was buried by thieves long time ago and forgotten for a while. So the farmer dug the ground at the backside of the tree, and he found a lot of gold. He became rich with that gold, and furthermore, he shared that gold with his poor neighbors. Stop the bad social custom for people abandon their parent to the mountain. The king of Korea at the moment ordered his beloved people when he heard the news about the farmer. So after then, Koreans loved and respected much more than before, and nobody carried their parent to the, nobody abandoned their parent to the mountain. After that, the family of the farmer happily lived a long time all together. It's the end of the story. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful story. Tell me, why did you choose this story? What's the significance for you?
Yeah, when I actually, the part of the story, I just borrowed from Korean old fairy tale. And when I just write out, when I edited that story, I thought about my mother passed away a couple of years ago. It's almost the same situation like when 10 years ago when I made my mind to come this Canada. My mother just I felt as if like I abandoned my mother at the country. So I felt so sad. So that's why I just made that kind of story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I understand you're also a writer. Are you a writer? A poet?
Yeah, I'm actually a poet, and I'm a member of the Burnaby Writers Society and also the Canadian Authors Association in Vancouver branch. I actually published my poem book by Korean language. Now I'm trying to translate my poem into English. In some days, if I publish my poem into, if I complete my poem, translate into English, you can see my poems.
All right. And I believe there was an event you wanted to tell us about.
Yeah. September 5th at the Studio Theater, Shepherd Center located in Deer Lake, Burnaby, we will get the 2013 Canada-Korea Literary Festival. We started this event from 2009. We invited Canadian writers like poem novelists and let them read their just a poem or novel, a part of novel, and our member translate it into Korean language.
Oh,
and,
interesting.
Yeah, and introduced to Korean audience. At the MCs, we do the event with bilingual event because one MC is Canadian, actually original Canadian, and one MC is Korean. As time goes by, the audience filled with the Canadians. It will be interesting. Not only the poem reading, we invite the singers like a Callisto trio a cappella, they're singing song, and flamenco dancer and invite also the Naomi, our storyteller teacher. Yeah, it will be very interesting. The most important thing is admission is free because from as I remember, from last year, Burnaby Art Council and the City of Burnaby and the British Columbia government just supported us to make our event successful. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so someone who has that's first language English can come and perform a poem, and it'll get translated into Korean?
Yeah.
I might do that. Interesting. I'm also a poet. That's why I picked up on that. Yeah.
Oh, so
Okay.
if I know you the first, I invite, but all poem readers was fixed. I will invite you next year.
Oh, okay. This is Ryan Fletcher on Radio BVM, and we're going to have a story from the Burnaby Storytelling Project. The story is going to be told by Young Kim. Hello, Young.
Hi.
And so let's hear your story.
Yeah. My storytelling is about a Korean traditional folk tale. And okay, let's go to Korea. A long, long time ago, there was a small town where it was surrounded with a lot of beautiful flowers in the spring. There were two brothers. Their characters are very different, such as kind, unkind, greedy, generous. And one day, their father called them up. Their father, old and sick. He said, "Oh, my sweet sons, I'm really sick and old. If I die, please divide my property in half." But the father died. The older brother thought, "Oh, I have only one child, but my brother has 9 children. It is not fair to live together." After that, he kicked young brothers out of a family in cold winter without money. They have to live near a mountain and walk very hard, but still so poor. A pretty cold day, young brother children were so hungry and cried. The young brother decided to ask his brother for some rice. Next morning, he went to his big brother's big house. "Oh, brother, please, my children have anything to eat. Please share for some rice. I will pay you back next spring, please." At the moment, the big brother's wife scooping out rice from a pot, but she didn't want to give him any rice. And then came out with rice scoop and hit his young brother's face. Oh, young brother's face a lot of rice. He thought, "Oh, rice. Okay. Oh, please, sister-in-law, the other side too." Okay. This time, she hit with cream rice scoop. Oh, the big brother looked on at the situation and shout. Big brother shout, Who? Wife or younger brother? Yes, he shout to younger brothers. "I don't want to anything give and take. Share to my things. And you are too weak and he was a little bit angry, and then go away and live by yourself. You don't deserve to help. The younger brother crying and emptied hand. 20 years ago, I was as like as him. But I had a blessed encounter with God, different. And then the cold winter went by and come into bloom. A pair of swallows encounter young brother's house and breed baby swallows. The swallows family make young brother's family happy. One day, very shiny day, young brother encountered to hear a loud cries, swallows. A big snake tried to eat baby swallows. Young brothers, they hit the snake with the stick and it away. But unfortunately, the little baby swallows fell down and broke its leg. He take care of it and get better. The swallow's family was headed to the south. And then in the peach blossom time, the swallows brought a gold seed to young brother, planted it, grew up, and sold it. Fell down lots of gold. Young brother became rich man. Big brother heard the news and asked him, "Oh, I can't believe what happened to you." And, "Hey, young brother, how can you be so rich?" Young brother told big brother the whole story. Big brother came back home and he wanted to find swallows. "Oh, where is the swallow? Where is the swallow? I need a swallow." Finally, he got a swallow and broke it. And then, "Oh, poor swallow," and take care, get better. The swallow's family was headed to the south. And then next spring, in the peach blossom time, the swallow's family brought some ground seed to him. He planted it, then grew up and cut it down, fell out lots of demon, ghost, and dirty water. They knocked big families down. Suddenly, he became poor man. And young brothers heard the news and came here to see big brothers. "Oh, brother, I'm really sorry to hear that, but let's live together. Then take anything, whatever, if you want." The encounter changed the old brother's characters, making him more generous, caring, and passionate person. That's the end of the story. Thank you.
It's a very nice story told by young Kim.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It seems to me like it's a lot about humility from
Yeah.
the older brother. Yes. So why did you choose to tell this story? Why does that interest you?
I think the people is changed from by environment, education, some factor. But the most important thing is the people will meet emotional touch. It really big turning point as like me. So
Oh, so have you had a similar turning point in your life?
yes,
Yes.
yeah. As I told about my story, I was really as the big brothers. I don't want to give and take. I don't want to share my things because I think my life, only I wanted to learn my life. I don't want to harm to another person. I don't want to give help. But 28 years ago, I met my God. After that, I changed. I am so small. I am so weak. So people help each other.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So this has been Young Kim, a story from the Burnaby Storytelling Project. So this is Ryan Fletcher, Radio BVM, and I have Jan Taylor with me from the Burnaby Storytelling Project. Welcome, Jan.
Thank you.
Could you tell us what is the Burnaby Storytelling Project?
Okay, the Burnaby Intercultural Planning Table is undertaking an initiative in Burnaby called The World in Burnaby. It's a public awareness campaign to help people understand the value that immigrants and refugees bring to this community. You might know that over half of Burnaby residents are foreign-born, so they were born outside Canada. And we have, as a result of that in Burnaby, a very rich ethnic and racial and cultural and faith diversity. But there's a sense that people are still somewhat isolated in their own community. And so the public awareness campaign is designed to help people understand people from other countries, other faiths, other ethnicities a little bit better. The Burnaby Storytelling Project is one component of that overall World in Burnaby initiative. And what we've aimed to do is find immigrants and refugees, train them to tell their story, to be storytellers, and then find community venues where they can share those stories. Some of the stories, like the ones you heard this morning, are traditional folk or fairy tales from a particular country. Some of the stories are people's personal narratives about their experiences coming to Canada, coming to Burnaby, at work, at home, and school. And so the mix of the folk and fairy tale and the personal narrative creates quite a rich kind of tapestry of stories.
Okay, and how much participation has there been in this project to date?
So initially, we invited people from various community groups to participate. We ended up with 12 people who wanted to be trained to be storytellers. We put them through a training process, and we have them now out in the community. So that's our first group of 12. In the fall, we'll do that all over again. We'll have information sessions and training sessions with the goal to having another 12. So the project by early next year should have 24 storytellers, and then, of course, many, many, many more people who hear the stories.
And how much is language a barrier for people?
I think it's more a barrier for people who think that they don't speak English well enough to become a storyteller. I think of the 12 storytellers we have now, there are probably 3 or 4 who are a little bit challenging to understand, but they get better and better and better as they tell their stories.
And what do you think is the value of a story? Why is it storytelling versus any other kind of activity?
I think a couple of things. For the folk and fairy tales, I think what it shows us is the sort of universal experiences and themes that are part of every culture. So in the stories you heard today, treasure, pots of gold, people who have a life-changing experience, cultures that abandoned old people and came to realize that they were important in our communities and no longer do that. So the sort of common bond that you can understand through a story. And a similar kind of thing with the personal narratives. When you hear the experiences of people who have come to Canada and left children behind, left parents behind, it does deepen in a much more personal way your understanding of the sacrifice made as part of the immigration process. We often think how lucky people are to come to Canada, and indeed the storytellers certainly feel very lucky and very privileged, but there is another side of that experience, which is the sacrifice that's made when people leave their home country.
Do you often get people with experience? I mean, one thing I've noticed from immigrants I meet is often they're very well educated people who have very good careers that leave and then come to Vancouver to have a very modest kind of work.
Exactly.
Life. Yeah.
Exactly.
So do you get people who have a lot of, education experience, that sort of thing?
Well, for example, the first storyteller today, David, has a PhD in economics.
Yeah.
You might not know that in listening to his story. He has not found that level of work in this country, or a level of work commensurate with that level of qualification. Similarly, Young is a very qualified person. She's currently working in the retail sector here. So, and several of our storytellers have not been able to find work. So, yes, absolutely. The translation of skills is a major obstacle for many of the storytellers.
Okay. And so this morning we had a couple of Korean storytellers. Where else are we going to have some people from? What are some of the places people are coming from?
Okay. We have, in this particular group of storytellers, we have someone from Mexico, we have several people from the Middle East, we have someone from Poland, we have people from China. I expect in the next group of storytellers, we will also probably find storytellers from the Philippines and perhaps from India, because there are large populations from those countries living in Burnaby. But the surprise for me was the Middle Eastern storytellers, very rich storytelling traditions in some of those countries, and they really have taken to this like ducks to water.
Oh, cool. I look forward to hearing some Middle Eastern stories. Now, someone is listening to this and they want to listen to some stories or tell their own stories. How will they proceed?
Okay, thank you for that. So I initially mentioned the Burnaby Intercultural Planning Table. Just very briefly, that's a group of public services in Burnaby, like the city and the library and the rec department and the Board of Education, as well as immigrant serving agencies like Success and Mosaic and ISS, and then some community organizations like the Neighborhood House and Burnaby Family Life. So it's a group of people who are interested in planning for services for immigrants and refugees. They are the sponsor of the project that I've just described. They have a website, which is www.BIPT, Burnaby Intercultural Planning Table.ca. If you go to that site, you'll get linked to this project, which will put you in touch with more information about the project, an ability to volunteer to be a storyteller, at some point access to the stories themselves, and a lot more information about the overall World in Burnaby project, because people may be interested in the storytelling piece, but they may also be interested in some of the other pieces. So essentially, go to the website.
Okay. And what are some places that the stories have been told? I mean, besides here at the museum?
South Burnaby Neighborhood House holds a
Yeah.
series of barbecues at community schools. Our storytellers were there. We've been invited to the Rotary. We will be part of the Burnaby Public Library's Storytelling Festival, which is taking place this fall. And then our hope is that as people hear the stories in places like this, they'll solicit us for more invitations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Just that, if you'd like to learn to be a storyteller, it's an incredibly inspiring process. And do get in touch with us, because we'll, as I say, do it again in the fall.
Okay.
Thank you.
And this has been Jan Taylor from the Burnaby Storytelling Project. This is Ryan Fletcher, Radio BVM.